Hello. In this video, we will look at updates to Google Meet. The updates we will look at are host controls, breakout rooms, polls, Q&A, whiteboard, and hand raising. In order to demonstrate these updates, we will look at a Google Meet live, and we'll get to that Google Meet from a Google Classroom. In our Google Classroom, the link to the Google Meet has been made visible. And you'll notice that this is a special link. It's meet.google.com/lookup/a list of characters. What this means is that when it's clicked on, it's going to look up to see if this nickname is being used right now. If a student were to click on it and this nickname is not in session, it will not let them start or join this meet. It'll tell them they do not have permissions to start a meet. If a faculty member clicks on it, and when I say faculty member, it does not matter if that person is in this classroom as a student or as a teacher. If they are a member of our faculty and they click on this link, one of two things will happen. If they are the first person to click on this link, it will start a meet on a specific web address, and it will bring them to the join screen. At that point, they are the organizer of the meeting. It does not matter if they wait on the join screen for someone else to enter first. Because they are the first one to click on it, they will be the organizer of the event. Sometimes that causes some challenges with co-teachers, where you have a co-teacher or perhaps a teacher aide who clicks on this link first. They go and they wait on the join screen for the main teacher to join, or their colleague, however they've worked it out. It will not matter. The person who clicked on it first for that day or for that time period is going to be the organizer of the meet. And that will be important because the organizer is the person who gets host controls. Now, if you are not the first faculty member during the session to click on this meet, it'll bring you to the join screen and let you join as a participant, but you will not be the host. So this meet is already running. And you can see that we have a few users inside the meet. You can also tell that I'm the organizer of this meeting because of this little blue shield down here, which lets me know that I'm the host. So when you are the host of a Google Meet, you have several controls that are given to you. And you access them by clicking on that blue shield. So the things that I can do right now are to turn off quick access, turn off the ability to share screens, and turn off the ability to send chat messages. Now, this quick access piece, what that's all about is that by default, outside email addresses have to knock to enter in order to be admitted into a Google Meet that's running within our district. I should say a nicknamed meet that's running within our district. Automatically, because of quick access, users with @albany.k12.ny.us addresses can join any other Google Meet that they have the link to. So if they have the link, they can automatically just join. And that's what quick access does. There are instances where you may want to turn quick access off. And what that would do is make everyone, regardless as to whether or not you have an @albany.k12.ny.us address or an outside address, everybody has to knock to enter. Typically, you would keep that on, which makes it easy for your students to join, but there have been situations where perhaps there's some level of meet bombing or something going on where there's uninvited guests that are getting the link from a friend and joining your meet, and while the administrative processes are taking place to identify and correct that behavior, you may want to turn off quick access for the duration of time until it's rectified, so that way you can only allow your students to get inside the Meet. As far as sharing screens, again, that's turn on, turn off, and you can do these on and off toggles during a Meet as well. At the bottom it says View All Host Settings, and when you view all host settings, all it does is open up Settings and goes to the Host Control option, which is the third option under Settings. And again, quick access, share screen, send messages. Another way to get to these settings is to go to the three dots in the bottom right and choose Settings. When I do that, you see I have audio, video, and host controls. The last way I'll show you how to get to those settings is to go to the participant list, and then you can go to host controls right here. Now this gives you two of the three, and if you want that third, you hit View All Host Controls, and there they are. View All Settings, and there they are. The next thing I want to show you are the breakout rooms and how they work. So the way you access breakout rooms is you go to the triangle, square, and circle. Keep in mind, you must be the host to see this. So I go to the triangle, square, and circle. I shouldn't say to see this. You must be the host in order to run the breakout rooms. And at this point, there is not a way to designate a host or to have multiple hosts. That's not an update that's come to fruition at this time. So when you click on that triangle, square, and circle, you have the following options: breakout rooms, polls, and Q&A. We'll talk specifically about breakout rooms. So when I click on it, we can see who's in the main call. And if I click on Set Up Breakout Rooms, it takes a guess as to what I want, how many breakout rooms I want, and how I want to organize them. You do not have to use their suggestions. I could say I want 3 breakout rooms, and it'll shuffle and make 3 breakout rooms. Or maybe I just wanted those 2. You can also set a timer so that the breakout rooms can end after a certain duration. So maybe after 1 minute, these breakout rooms will end. They have not started yet. They will not start until I hit Open Rooms. Another thing I could do is maybe I'm just not thrilled with how they organized my breakout rooms, so I could shuffle them. You can also manually move students from one room to another. So if you know that certain folks aren't going to work well together, you can manually move them. You can also, if you close out of them, it'll put them back in the main call. And if you type in their name, it recognizes that they're in this call, and you can quickly add them to a breakout room. So that can be helpful as well. Many times people ask, can I preset the breakout rooms? And inherently, in the way that Google Meet is set up with breakout rooms right now, the answer is no. Again, we talked about shuffle, and now we can clear as well. So if I clear the breakout rooms, it cleared out the rooms, and now I could just manually move the students to the rooms as I would like to. So those are some of the options for breakout rooms. Now I do have a timer set for 1 minute on our breakout rooms, and we're actually going to run breakout rooms here for a moment. Now when I open up the rooms, the students will see a link to join the room. And I will be able to show you that as well. So let's open the rooms. All right, this is the teacher view. And from the student view, they will get a notice that says join a breakout room. So they join. And that student is in the breakout room. And now I can see that student joined the breakout room. These other students have not yet, but I can have them do that. So they are joining their breakout rooms as we speak. And now I'm in the main call, We have a warning. Our breakout rooms are ending in 28 seconds. And if I want to go to one of the rooms, I could just click join. So I will go join one of the rooms. At this point, I can't edit them by dragging, but if I were to hit edit rooms, then I would be able to drag the students to other rooms. And that's sometimes how you can help an aide get into a room. So let's go join breakout room number 1 before our time expires. And here we are, and I'm in breakout room 1 with 2 of the participants. Oh, it looks like our timer has just gone off, and they would like us to return to the main call. So all the students have to do is click on return to main call. And I will do that for my sample student here and for my sample students on my other devices. And everyone should be returning to the main call. Here they come. So we're all back in the main call. And that's how breakout rooms work. Remember that when the students are in the breakout rooms, there were 2 options. It was close rooms or edit rooms. You have to click edit rooms in order to be able to drag students again. One other thing I would like to mention is that if you leave the main call and there's no one else in the main call, if a student tries to leave their breakout room and return to the main call, they will get kicked out of the entire meet. That is by design, and it's just something to be aware of that I prefer to mention up front rather than have you bump into on your own. So you don't want the students to leave the breakout rooms and try to return to a main call that has no one in it, because it will kick them out. Other options under the triangle, square, and circle are to begin polls. So I could ask a poll question by clicking on polls and starting a poll. Now my question could be, where do we work? This is a silly question, and I'm just going to type in a couple of options. Something that comes up sometimes is, can I start these in advance? Can I copy and paste from a Google Doc? Can I import them in some way? Currently, there's not a real easy way to do that. Certainly, you could copy and paste the individual question and each individual answer, but there is no import function yet, and there's no save from meet to meet function. You'll notice that I can save it, but it's just going to save it within this meet. I can add more options, and if I want to get rid of an option, I can just, let me just make the option. I can click on that little minus sign. So this one, notice how the minus appears when I hover on it. I could click on it and get rid of an option. At this point, I don't wish to do that. I'm actually going to add Troy, and then we are going to save this question. Now it will let me edit it or launch it. I can also trash it or delete it. I can also create another poll. So you can create multiple questions that you would like to use during your session. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and mention that you can also show students the results if you want. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this poll question. And on the student side, they will see that a new poll, I had a warning, a new poll has been added. There's a green circle up here that lets me know there's some activity happening. When I come to these options, I see the activity. Oh, the polls has a green circle. And when I go here, where do we work? We work in Albany, and I can vote. Now notice it says your name and answer will be recorded. It's very important because as the teacher, I will not see in the moment who said what for each answer. I'll get a nice picture of how well my students are understanding if I'm using it for a check for understanding, but I won't know who said what in the moment. But at the conclusion of the session, Google will email me a report in Google Sheets that's got every student's answer to each of the questions that were asked using the poll function. I could let the students see the results, and if I come back, now that student would be able to see what the results are right now. And if other students were to vote, they would see in live time those results changing. So here we are, I have a student that just voted, and you'll see that it goes from 1 vote to 2 votes. and that's the polling feature. The next feature I want to show you is question and answer. So I'm going to turn it on, and we can ask a question. Now, I've just asked the question, what? Not the greatest question, but I want to show you from the student view. They can close out of the poll. Oh, we have a green circle with activities. There's something going on. It's a Q&A. And they see what? Now they could ask their own question, or if they thought what was a really great question, they could go ahead and upvote it. So maybe this student is going to ask how. Now I'm going to have one of my other student accounts go into polls. I'm sorry, go into Q&A, and I'm going to have them upvote one of the questions. So you'll see that what just got upvoted, and I'll do it with my other account. And we'll see that what just got another upvote. So there are 3 votes for what. Now as the teacher, I can sort by oldest, newest, and popular. So if I sort by popular, that can help me address the question that the most people want to know. And that really speaks to the value of the Q&A, that they can upvote questions and you can look to see what is the question the most people want to know, and you can address that during your time together. So that is the Q&A function. You will also get a report on the questions that were asked during this session. The next thing I want to show you is the hand raising feature. So if I wanted, I could raise my hand, or I'll have one of my test students raise their hand. And I can see a hand is up. I'm going to have another test student raise a hand. Now, if I come to the Show Everyone section, it shows me raised hands, and it's in the order that the students asked the question. So I could go ahead and lower their hand, but I can't prevent them from continually raising their hand. And I know there's currently been a large push for a feature that would at least change the sound so it's not the same as the chat sound. Currently, the sound is the same as the chat sound. That's the hand raising feature. And the last feature I want to show you is the Jamboard integration so that you can have an interactive whiteboard. So you click on the 3 dots in the bottom right. You go to Whiteboard, open a Jam, and you'll have a couple of options. You could start a new whiteboard or choose one from Drive. First, I'll show you how to start a new whiteboard. So I click Start a New Whiteboard. It says these are the students that are going to get it. Now, do I want them to just be able to view it? So I'm going to be the teacher demonstrating to them, or do I want them to be able to edit and collaborate with me? In this example, I'm going to choose Edit so that I can show you what it looks like when other folks are editing. But if you wanted to, you could just simply let them view it so that you could have a whiteboard to demonstrate something on. So I'm going to go ahead and send. So for the teacher, it comes up automatically. And on the student accounts, they have to check inside the chat for the link. So it puts the chat link, or it puts the link in the chat for you. That's where the students find it. So they click on it, and then this is the student view of the Jam. At this point, they could do some handwriting. They could erase, add post-it notes, change the color of their post-it note. They could add images. Cancel that. They could add images, right? So it's similar to Google Slides, not quite as robust, and there's not a lot of control to not have students delete each other's content on here, so it can be a little tricky. Some management techniques might include adding multiple slides and having each student work on their own slide, and you would see who is on each slide. So there's some things you can do within Jamboard that might help with management. So this is the collaborative function of a Jamboard, and as the teacher, if I come back to my teacher account, and look at my Jam, you would see this is what that student was writing. All right. And if that student were to go on another slide, I would be able to see which slide it was they were working on. So that is, and I'm just going to go ahead and remove this. Okay. That's fine. And we're going to close out of it. And now I'd like to show you a Jamboard that I'm going to use one from my Google Drive. So I click Whiteboard, open a Jam. I choose from my drive. It's going to look for my recent Jamboards. And I'm going to choose this sample 7th grade Jam and open it. It's asking me, do I want them to be viewers or editors? Once again, I will let them edit. You may find that you just want them to view, which is perfectly fine. And send. And once again, on the student side, oops, I'm sorry about that. Once again, on the student side, I am going to close out of the original Jamboard I was in, and now there's a new Jamboard that's been shared with me, so I click on it, and then here is that Jamboard. Okay, you may find that this is not a tool that aligns well with the purpose that you would have for using this type of tool, or you may find that for your purposes it's the perfect tool. Maybe the view only function is better, maybe you prefer to have them edit. It really depends on what your purpose is for using the tool. But that is what the whiteboard integration looks like. At this point, I have shown you the most recent updates to Google Meet. If you need additional support or would like to work through some of this with a tech coach, please visit us at albanytechcoach.weebly.com. We look forward to supporting you. Thank you for watching.